I mean, why do you think they're linked to this premises?
I wouldn't like to share some information, but yeah, if I could take offline, that'd be great. So yeah, we wouldn't like to comment further on that.
Okay. Anything else, Karen? No. Right. Let me see. Am I live? Yeah. Right. Jav, yeah, I was going to ask because it's some of these things are not licensing matters. I think we have to say that there are issues which are not directly licensing matters. Your comment about the distinct smell of cannabis has been present around the premises when closed. That sort of seems to say that is some doubt there as to whether that actually means that it can be allied with the premises, or whether it's, if they're closed, why I don't know why you sort of, if you like, emphasize the fact that you can smell it when they're closed. And the same with the traffic. The premises themselves are on Staines Road, aren't they? So is it? Did I remember rightly on them? I saw on Google. I think they were towards the end of a bank of shops, aren't they? So do they actually sit on a junction with Staines Road and one of these other roads?
Sorry, is that a question for me? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, yes, Mr. Sam,
yeah. Yeah, it's on the corner, right on the corner of the road.
Yeah, what's the site? What's the site road? I've got Staines Road, I know that, but what's the side road?
Monster Avenue.
Monster Avenue, okay. All right. I don't have any further questions. Right. I don't think we haven't got anybody from Police and Licensing Authority to ask any questions. So I'll then turn to the applicant. Mr. Rucker, do you have any questions of the objector?
No questions.
No. Okay. Right. Thank you. I find it very awkward to call you Mr. Jav, but I think you'll accept that why I'm doing that. Yeah. So can we move on then? The other person's to respond. Right, so we now go to the applicant's case. So now the submission from the applicant. So may I ask you to state your name and address and give your reasons for the application?
Yes, my name is.
I think we're quite comfortable with that 5 minutes. I think from that point of view. So if it goes significantly beyond 5 minutes, then I'm sure my legal advisor will be rapping me theoretically or verbally across the knuckles. Okay, thank you, Mr. Rucker.
Okay, so my name is Manuel Rocha and I'm the agent for this application. So the Scozy is a restaurant and cafe. So we are not a disco or a pub or a wine bar. And for a restaurant point of view, it's very difficult for the restaurant to survive without selling alcohol. Alcohol is a complement of the activity, but at the moment, in all general restaurants, is when they can make some profit because the food is being really, really expensive. The prices increased due to many reasons. And alcohol, not as in the future for this restaurant, for other restaurants I assist, it's a very good complement. We apply for what we call reasonable hours, so it's not late hours, it's normal hours, it's within the policy with the council. We will do everything for protecting the 4 license objectives in terms of training, CCTV cameras, signage, 1-25 challenge. We'll train and retrain the staff every 6 months. The people, managers, DPS, waiters, in terms of the responsibilities they have on when they sell alcohol. We already agree with the police conditions and other officers. We accept their recommendations. Regarding the neighbors' objections, we feel sorry they object to us, but we understand. I don't agree because some of the issues, like you mentioned, Councillor, is related with traffic wardens, traffic enforcement, planning, speed cameras outside. So we would like to work with the neighbors. So if the neighbors approach us for any problems, any issues they have related with our business, the management will welcome them. So there is no, we want to work together because business to be successful, they need to work with the neighbors and the local residents. And the local residents, of course, they need also the support from the local business. So there is more business in the area. So people parking everywhere where they want, where they feel that is safe. I don't blame nobody, but I think it's a little bit unfair to put all this trouble because of us. And to be honest, I think it will be safer if we have alcohol license, because at the moment, I don't know, this gentleman, Mr. Jam, knows, but if we don't sell alcohol, we could say people can bring alcohol from Tesco or buy in anywhere, and they can drink in our facilities. And that way, we cannot need to stick to the rules, and that is will be worse for protecting the for license objectives. So I think if a restaurant or cafe has a proper license with control, everybody will work and protecting the for license objectives. So I feel that is safe for everybody if we work like that. But we welcome any recommendations from the neighbors if they want to tell us what is their problems, if we can help. The management is always there to help because we want the business to be successful and for a long time, not for a short time. Thank you very much. For now, I'm okay.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Rucker. Can I then move to my colleagues? So if you've got any questions, first I go to it. So have you any questions of the applicant?
Yeah, just a question about the CCTV. How much CCTV did you say you currently have, and did you say you're adding more? I wasn't quite clear when looking at the plan exactly what that meant.
The plan is we have CCTV, but what is the recommendation is for us to implement for 31 days data from the police, and we'll cover all the areas. So especially back doors, front doors, fronts, counters. So and that is what we improve, and the quality of the CCTV will be in the way that people can collect the image and the footage with very good quality and no doubts about the quality of the image.
So could you tell me perhaps in numbers how many CCTV
I don't know exactly how many numbers here, how many cameras we have, but what we agree with the police is to put the cameras enough to cover all the areas. So the police don't tell us that we need to have 8 or 16 cameras. So of course, for our protection of our business, and we can have much as cameras as possible, but we don't have a number of cameras yet. I'm not sure. I know we have cameras, but I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4, or if we're gonna put 8 or 10. What we'll be happy is to invite the police, and the police can advise us as if the license is granted where we should put the cameras and how many cameras they recommend, because in their recommendation they spoke about the number of cameras.
Okay, and if it is recommended, what would be the time frame?
Sorry.
What would be the time frame of implementation of the cameras if it is recommended?
The time frame is when we have the cameras working is when if the license is granted. It's from that day that we only can sell alcohol when we have the CCTV implemented. Because it's not difficult if the system already, the company already have if they want to apply for extension, is only buy more memory and extend the cameras, and that is not what is expensive. So today luckily for the business, the price drop in terms of CCTV and the quality from comparing what was 5-6 years ago.
Right. You okay with that answer?
I'm not sure if I'm quite clear, but I'm going to let Councillor Smith ask a few follow-up questions, I'm sure.
If I'm reading right, what he's saying is that there are cameras already in place, but if there are any changes needed in terms of their location or additions, they can be done quite quickly because the system's there, but they wouldn't be selling alcohol until that had been completed. Is that a fair summing up?
Yes.
So, because obviously when a license is granted, it's active from when it's granted, which would mean that are they agreeing that if they don't have the CCTV in place, then they won't be selling alcohol?
Yes.
I guess is the question.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Did you catch that, Unsa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good. Okay, Karen, do you have any questions?
Just a couple of bits. With the cameras, we do always like to have a full face, a camera that catches full face image at the door. So you might want to consider that. That's not really a question. So the only other thing I'd really like to ask is about the outside area is included in the license as well. Is that sort of partially covered? Is it a
it's
smoking
covered.
area?
Yeah, it's covered. It's covered. There is an open and closed area. So they have like what you call, I forgot the name now. It's like a roll. I forgot the name. Open and closed. So see if it's.
Oh, what do you mean screens of the sort?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, and do you know what plans the owner has to supervise the area? Because obviously if there's smoking, you also get a lot of noise, and it is quite a residential area, although it's a main road.
To be honest, I've been there a couple or 3 times, and when it's covered, of course, it's good covered, and it's good quality. You don't listen too much the noise, but of course, if it's open, if it's good weather, it's the hours we think is 11 o'clock, but because we are on the main street that it's already noisy with the traffic, but we see if there is any condition that we can put that say that no sitting outside after 10 o'clock or something that night, it's not a problem for us.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Right. Thank you, Karen. Councillor Foot, I've got a couple of questions also about the open air or the area at the front of the building, and about smoking, because if this is enclosed, then of course it can't be used for smoking.
No, there's no smoking. There's no smoking when it's closed, because it's against the law. But if it's totally open, of course, people can smoke.
Okay, so when it is closed, where do people who want to smoke go?
They usually what they do is they smoke on the front of the business, because it's less. There is no chance that the noise can perturb the neighbors. They don't go to the corner on the road on the side. That is residential, and if there is people talking, of course, people can upset. But again, if the council decides, the subcommittee decide that we could put a number of people, maximum number, like 5 or 6 people smoking at the same time, yes, will be happy with that too.
Okay. And within that open area, are there any I know you sort of more or less had questions about cameras, but within that alcohol licensable area, is there cameras in that area?
The cameras, yes, the cameras will focus on the entrance and on the side. So on the side, the first entrance, that is the outside area, will cover the side of outside and inside.
Okay. Yes, I think the important thing is that entrances and exits are clearly covered by cameras, which can take full facial.
Yes.
There, because that's if there is a problem and the police wish to identify the perpetrators, then that's what they will require.
Yeah.
And obviously it needs to be on the entrance oblique exits to do that. So I'm not quite sure from this drawing where the bar is.
The bar is when you enter the room. When you go to the kitchen, there is an area there. Where is the bar?
Oh, what? Just before going to the kitchen?
Yes.
The area in grey. So, in terms of the bar, will people? Is that so as it can be served to waiters to deliver the drinks to the persons at tables, or?
No, it's only there is no vertical drinking. It's only table service only.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah, your vertical drinking. Yeah.
No
Only allowable early in the evening. Right. Okay. Some other points. So we talked about possible smoking limitation. You talked about, we can say, if we said 5 or 6, I'm not saying we will, but that was something that you mentioned. Bar of written. So that's a fire access exit at the back. There's no entrance to that. That's just pure staff, isn't it? That there by the pot wash area. So the only access for customers is at the front of the building. I mean, obviously, if there was a fire, they could use the exits down there, but saying in normal circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay. One question, which I mean you didn't raise, but on there, but one question I have, I see the application is for on and off sales. Why would you? I mean, for what purpose would you want the off sales?
The off sales is only to do with the food takeaway. We know that business. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we need to be prepared for the worst. And some restaurants, maybe they can improve takeaway food, and sometimes with the same food, maybe order some wine or something. So it's only for that reason.
Okay. Now on the question of food, we see that the hours of opening is to 23:30. You've not applied for a late night license application, so there's no license application for sale of food after 2300.
Yes, we didn't apply because sorry.
So you recognise that you will not be selling food or drink after 2300. That will be a drinking up time.
Yes, I know. We want people that half an hour they have to
drink. That's the element within the police report.
Yeah,
that says that's going to be a drinking up time.
Yeah.
So they won't be selling any alcohol, in that period. Okay. The only other issue that is sitting here that I'm trying to make sure that I'm sticking with with licensing applications here, but does worry me a little bit. I mean, this license is actually under the old licensing applications. Although we passed the licensing laws, this application was actually made in October, so it's not actually covered by the new laws that are in place in the London Borough of Hounslow. However, one of the things about the new laws is that the area covering safety of children has been tightened up considerably, and I think it would be remiss of us if we didn't look at that, even though it's not covered in your licence application. The fact that it's so close that we should look at that. And this is where it worries me a bit about the comments on several of the written reports about the smell of drugs in the area. Now, you say that in the application that under protection of children that you will not be selling them to underage. You don't say what you would see as being relevant identification on that. So I need to know what you do see as the relevant identification.
So the relevant identification is, so we will have a policy of under 25, so everybody will be trained to ask for ID. Anybody look under 25, they need to prove they have 18, and the identification will be a passport or a driving license or a citizen card like we have in our countries. Is a document, as an ID document with a holographic stamp.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fine. It's just it's not mentioned in the
Okay.
comments there, so it's why it's quite important. But
Yes.
as I said, the fact that the new regulations come in much stronger about other areas, about the prevention of children to criminal or sexual exploitation, and that becomes the responsibility of the licensee, that they must, you know, that they would take measures to ensure that none of those activities were happening. Not just a question of underage drinking, but also access to drugs, access where they're being exploited for criminal activities or sexual activities. All of that becomes the responsibility of the licensee to ensure that that's not happening. Has that been discussed with the licensee?
Yes, we spoke about that, and the manager they acknowledge of the law and what's happening in the new legislation regarding the employing people, access to drugs. So it's because we have a zero tolerance regarding smoking and or any kind of drug. So,
Sure.
So they should be reported to the police in any case somebody don't stick to the law or something like. We report it, so we don't want any problems with that.
Right, the final question I've got is whether or not you have anything laid down yet to formalise any contact with the neighbours. I mean, it does say that there's a need to put a telephone number, but I mean more formal than that, that maybe some way a regular meeting between the licensee and neighbours can that be is that thought of, or can that be?
This can be. We would like to do that. So because that idea, maybe the neighbors will be part of our customer space, you know. So we'd like to have a good relation. And my neighbors sometimes, most of them, they have families, and see if they went to a restaurant is 6 or 8. Not now, of course, with the COVID restrictions, but hopefully in the future everything go better for everybody. And of course, the neighbors will be a very good potential for us as a customers, whatever is a coffee or a sandwich or a salad or a pizza or a lasagna.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of maybe a more sort of grouping where maybe they be invited on a, I don't know, once a month, once a quarter, just to come across and sit down and have a chat with the management.
Yes, we are
express their views and thoughts, and as you say, the management can in many ways extend their customer base by being good neighbours.
Yes. We are more keen than accept that, and we would like to do that. So once a month, every 2 months will be fine for us.
Okay. Right, that's all of the questions I've got. Right, is there, I see Mr. Javs is still there. Is there any questions you would like to ask of the applicant, Mr. Jav?
No, thank you.
No, you're okay. Okay. Right, I think I've covered everybody. I haven't left anybody off the list. Is there any follow-ups at all by councillors? Anything you need to follow up on there?
No, I think you also said about in terms of licensing, it's not applicable, but the traffic and some of the parking, which you might want to mention as well, just so everyone's aware.
Yeah. Okay. I think that, yes, I mean, obviously parking is a problem, and there are legalities that surround that, but they are traffic legalities. We can't actually put that into the license. But yeah, I think it's part and parcel of if we like, you know, go back to the good neighbour comments that we made, that it's the sort of thing that the management need to perhaps take on board to make, in making sure that they are in a good neighbour situation. Karen, anything that you want to amplify?
No, not on top of what's already been said. Thank you.
Okay. Right, I think we're now, so we've done the summing up. I haven't left anybody off that's here. Right, so thank you everybody for your comments, etc. I'm now going to ask Kaneet's legal advisor to clarify the procedure for making the decision and what options are open to us as the licensing panel. So, Kaneet, so over to you.
Thank you, Councillor Foote. Now that the panel's heard representations from the objector as well as from the applicant, and everyone's had the opportunity, including the panel, to address any concerns or raise any questions, the panel will now retire, meaning leaving this hearing room to discuss the case. It will be joined by myself and no one else. Sorry, I will be joining the panel members and no one else will be in that meeting. Once the panel has reached a decision, we will return to this hearing room to confirm the decision, and at that point we will obviously also confirm with regards to any rights of appeal, for example. In terms of decision, the panel has the options to either grant the application in full on terms and conditions contained within the application and to include any additional conditions as well. The panel can also grant the application but somewhat modify it if considered necessary and appropriate, or the last option is to actually reject the application in full or in part. But once the panel's had the opportunity to discuss the case, we will obviously come back and confirm the decision.
Okay, thanks, Kenneth. Well, what we'll do now, we will leave. If members or if the objectors and the applicant remain here, I would suggest that you turn off your microphones, because there will be recordings and you may be saying things you would not want to be seeing on headlines in newspapers at a later stage. So yeah, I would suggest that you do mute your microphones in this period. I would expect that, and it's normal, we would normally be able to come to a decision within 15 minutes of going off to the room, unless something untoward comes up in the discussion, in which case I will we will feed back through our technical advisor that we have a delay and that we will advise any revised time. But at this moment, I'm assuming that we should be in a position to be back by let's see, 4:15. Yep.
Yes, Chair.
Are we ready then? We need now to leave and come to our other meeting room. Right. Thank you very much. Karen, Dick.
I think we've got everybody back in now, Councillor.
Councillor back there, yep. Okay. Right. Okay. Is both the applicant and the objectors present?
Yes. Manuel Rocha, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Then, if you're ready, our decision is that we grant the license application with the modifications that presented by PC Pello, with one additional one in that area about the sale of miniature spirit bottles, that they would not be included. They form part of the single cans, etc. So the miniatures would not be sold as off license things. The other factor, two factors. One, we discussed the installation of the CCTV cameras in association with what's been said about full facial, etc. So the only condition we say about when you come in, it's up to the applicant to get his cameras in as quickly as possible, and can therefore then start practicing. There will be a written confirmation of this, which will go to the applicant. And does it go to the objectors as well? Yep. I'm looking for advice. I think
it's Rita, councillor. Yes, once decision's been sent to us, all objectors and applicant get to know about it.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks. I was pretty sure it was, but I was having a blank moment then. Right, so that I think covers most of it. Off sales. Yes, the other factor that we think is in there, which we would like to pick up on, is the offer made to by the applicant to meet on a regular basis with local residents to discuss any issues they may have. So yes, we'd like to put that in as a condition in there. It's up to you what the frequency of that would be, you know, and the methods of contact, etc. But I think that it's a good idea in any sense when you've got a local business like this, that it does communicate with local residents, and we've seen that has in other issues that's shown to be very advantageous. So to both the business and to the residents. So I think it's something that should be done. So I think that's all. Candice, have I forgotten anything? Do you know? Have I left anything out?
No, councillor, you've covered all of the points. With regards to the decision, that should be within the next 5 working days, tomorrow being the first day of the 5 working day. And so the deadline for that would be the 31st of December 2020.
That's because we've got quite a few days in the next couple of weeks which are not working ones. Unless,
unfortunately, yes.
My wife would hasten to add that she'd be working very hard on those days, as I'm sure all of us are. Anyway, can I take this opportunity to say thank you to you all, to wish you all a safe holiday period, and hopefully we will see you all in the future. But please keep safe, enjoy your Christmas, and all best wishes to you and to your families. And thank you very much for your
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks,
councillors.
councillors.
Thank you, councillor.